Hey there, how do we get started? Sometimes you look at something and you want to draw it and you just don't really know where to start. So this is Deborah Brooks and I'm going to go do a sketch for you, and then in part two I'll do some gouache painting on this, Gouache. Anyway, as you notice, look at how I'm holding my pencil. That's probably one of the first things that you might catch your eye, is that I'm holding it very lightly, gently up at the top of the pencil and moving my whole arm. I'm looking at this little toy robot that is full of details, and I'm resisting the details at the beginning. I know as a beginner I would have zoomed right in on the little features and pressed hard and got that to really show up right away. It's very light, and that's one of the hard things about demonstrating a beginning of a drawing. But where to start? I looked at that main shape, that kind of bullet shape, and then I broke it down into the parts for the head, the torso, and the leg section without really thinking about those were the names of the parts. I was just looking at the sizes and shapes. And now you see I'm moving in to construct the positioning for those arms. And I'm really looking at, like, do they bend? Do they curve? Is there any space? How long are they? And then you might see me comparing to the other side of the body to kind of make a note or dot to show the relationship between those two parts. This side and that side. I'm going to do that again down with the wheels, and the angle there is really trying to get things in alignment. You know how important it is when your tires are in alignment, your car doesn't go. It's the same thing with the drawing. You want to get the two sides to align and the angle. I picked a 3/4 view for the robot. He's standing at a little bit of an angle, and also no, I'm not left-handed. I set my camera that way. I got to work on that. Anyway, I'm curving up over the head. A beginner might not see the curve there. Might draw that line straight because it divides the head into parts. But curving that, and again, I'm working on some little tiny details, and I'm still holding the pencil up near the end because I want to have a light touch. I want to show the shapes without getting real pinchy and tight about it. So now just kind of setting up the facial features and that neck collar thing, which ends up getting really revised when I paint. And in part two, I'll be talking about what's the difference between like coloring in a drawing and really still painting. And I'm using a painting approach where my drawing may not be perfect, but I'm going to start with the painting and make a lot of revisions at that point. So make sure that you want to come back for part two to see the revisions I make. And then now I'm kind of cleaning up a little bit, like making some decisions. There were like 5 lines for what might end up being 1 line. And I'm kind of cleaning that up and clarifying for myself, what I need to do. You can see I have an electric battery-operated eraser up there by Derwent. It's like, I think around $10. I have a very nice vinyl eraser by Factis, Factis. I love a white eraser. And my favorite pencil sharpener by KUM. It has 2 hole pointers, so you can sharpen it once to sharpen the wood, and then I sharpen the lead with the second hole in the sharpener. I do use a brush to wipe away my eraser dust. I really don't like smearing drawings, and you can use any brush. I just kind of think that one's handy with a short handle for a tabletop. Other things I wanted to point out are, I'm working on a Bristol paper, which is a clean, smooth finish, and it allows for the crispest application of paint. You might want to try some Bristol. This one is by Strathmore. It just was like, I think in a pad, and I like to work off of a pad. So you can see it's nothing wrong with using a ruler to clean things off. You can even measure things. That's not cheating. You could even trace it. You could take a picture of it and trace it, and then work on the painting part, because that in itself is another whole challenge. So, whatever you're finding is the struggle portion, do whatever you can to get past that, so you get on to the other stuff. And you don't have to do it all at once. So, revising, changing, adjusting, going in for finer and finer observation. I went with the big shapes first, and then into the finer details. And I don't have to make it exactly like the real thing. I can edit it. This is a really cool little toy robot that I've had for like 30 years. It's been around. Anyway, if you can drop me any questions that you're wondering about. I'd love to see you, see what you're working on. And yeah, still revising. I think this is about a 6-minute video here. You can see the process. Making changes. Boy, was it the perfect thing to do on a snowy day. I got a surprise part of the day off of work, and really helps me to get focused and centered and be able to handle the next challenges that come up. Thanks for coming.